All right, we're going to go ahead and call the Southern Nevada Enterprise Community Board meeting to order, and we'll call roll.
Chair Scott.
Here.
Vice Chair Neal.
Here.
Member Horsford. Excused. Member Monroe Moreno. Excused. Member McNeil.
Here.
Member Garcia Anderson. Excused. Member McCurdy.
Present.
Member Steele. Excused. Member Summers Armstrong.
Present.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
All right, there is a quorum present. We'll go to the first time set aside for public comment. This time is set aside for items that are on the agenda. If you'd like to speak to an item, please come forward now. State your name, last name for the record, and you'll be allotted 3 minutes. Is there anyone in person or online who would like to come forward at this time? Hearing and seeing no one, we'll move on to item number 4, approval of the minutes. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
All right, there is a motion. Is there a second? All right, we have a motion and second for approval of the meeting minutes from May 19, 2025. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstains? Motion is adopted. I will now move on to item number 5, presentation by Sam Cherry, CEO, and Grant Garcia, COO. Please come forward at this time regarding the development of Share Downtown Westside project. Welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner, Councilwoman, and members. Thanks for having us. Oh, sorry. I was reading that. Grant Garcia, G-R-A-N-T, Garcia, G-A-R-C-I-A. Here on behalf of Share Downtown, along with my partner, Sam Cherry, we've been working on Share Westside for about 4 years now. You can see the renderings on the screen, and we put a lot of time and effort and really looking forward to this project in Councilwoman's ward. Let's see if I could go forward. There we go. So as the rendering shows, it's going to be 104 one-bedroom, one-bath units. Per the DDA, some of the rent covenants that are in there. So the HUD publishes, this is based on what the HUD publishes yearly. We have to be at 120% AMI, and the 2025 HUD limit for one bedroom, one bath is $1,476 a month. We'll also have 17,000 square feet of ground floor retail, which is also going to include kind of off to the left that single story, but it'll have a mezzanine inside of it. 8,950 square foot market food hall. That's the basics on the project, and I think Sam will get
Hi,
further
Sam
into
Cherry, Cherry Development. And more on that slide, the couple of covenants on there, the 120% is a cap. So it is, that's the max income limit. We are below that. And the HUD limit is the max that can be charged. That doesn't mean that that's what's going to be market when we actually open up next year when we go to market, but that is the max limit. And this is published by HUD annually, and that was something that was part of the deal points when we were working with the city to ensure that while the market could change, there's not going to be a huge jump year over year in a rent increase. So it doesn't go from $1,476 to say $1,800 or $2,200, which was affecting the valley for the last decade. This is a project that we're very passionate about. We've worked very closely with the city to ensure that we have compliance on all fronts. Is there another slide on there? So the RDA had some requirements that had to do with employment plan, and it had different phases associated with it. And some of the components are how we went out to market to meet with vendors and contractors, what happens during the construction period, and then what happens post-construction with operations. And at the moment, on our next slide, there's a threshold the city had, which was 15%. We're currently at 17% on our reporting. I will say this is very early in the project too. I think the requirement of this board is to come in at 50% or after, or if you call us in, we're happy to be here. We're about 20% through our project right now, so we're excited to be able to present. We also would like the opportunity to come back as we get farther down the road and see how numbers shape up. So for example, that 17%, while we've met a threshold, we're not here to just get by with the threshold. We want to exceed and do more than just the basics that are outlined. So we hope in our next round, if allowed, that we see an improvement with that. It also could go down. We don't know. You know, there's going to be more contractors that come on the job, and it's our job to figure out how we pivot, how we adjust, what the opportunities are, and what we can bring forward that, again, doesn't just get to a threshold, it exceeds it. On the next portion, on the subcontracting portion, we're currently at 23%. Now, again, very early days in our project. This is vendors that are in the project makeup that are, you know, within the redevelopment, within the west side. We think there's a big opportunity for this portion to grow as well. A lot of this concept is we go through the process of construction, we complete construction, then we get into the operations component. A big part of that component was the retail and the food hall and what is brought on, how that's programmed to ensure that the operations post-construction hopefully exceeds everything that we're seeing in the first phases. And so we've made an effort with the city, with the contractor, where we can in the community to find vendors, to find subcontractors. Would we like to see more? Yes. You know, but there is a process where we went through. We received a list from the city, contacted every single one of them, had the GC contact every single one of them, went through the process to get them qualified. And quite honestly, there's not a lot of qualified companies in the area that can service this portion of the specific project. There will be other components of the project that we think will far exceed what we're dealing with today. It's something where, you know, how do we get there? Well, there's the effort through the contractor, there's the effort of going through the list, and there's the effort of us just getting into the community and talking. We can't meet everybody. We try to meet everybody where they're at in conversation, but it's us making that effort. One example is our interior designer. She has an office in the west side, TV Interiors. She's wonderful. How did we meet her? We met her at one of the events at the Doolittle. It was for the museum, actually, I think. And I just walked up to her and we were talking about interior design because she made an effort to try to find out for a future museum, how can she be involved? How can she get work? So that was an easy thing for me to go up and have a conversation. She's contracted with us to do the work on this job, and she's been fantastic. Artist in the neighborhood who's helping us give guidance on art that we want to have associated with the project, which we've done in the last two projects based on where we are in the arts district. We came with different artists on the side to kind of pay homage to the art community. In Fremont East, we have entertainment on there. So that's something that we're working closely with an artist in the community to help us program the arting and the branding that when you come into the facility, it feels like it's part of the west side. It carries through beyond just a conversation that we're having today. It's something that lives with us forever. And it's been a big effort. It's been a big effort with the folks behind me in economic development. It's been an effort with Councilwoman, with her, you know, I see her going to every event, talking to every single person she can talk to, promoting the west side. This has been a big lift for us just to get financing, where a lender to come and say, hey, we'll be first. We'll take the risk. I toured 100 people if I toured one to get to the point we're at today, to have the confidence for them to take the risk and believe in our vision, to believe in the city's vision, to believe in the community's vision to keep this project going. And while when we started this project 4 years ago, there was conversations, there's things that were brought in front of you, grants, programs, things that were moving and grabbing attention, but that came with an end. It came with okay, we're out of grant money, or we're out of the period of programming. We're to the point now where, and congratulations on the CSN workforce facility that was built. That's a huge accomplishment. We have that next to us. We have our project going up. I see the movement on Marble Manor. I see the business people the property owners on Jackson having conversations on how they want to move their property forward, how they can make something special with what they have. These are things that'll live on forever. CSN will live on beyond me. Our project will live on beyond me. And that's come with a big effort from the community, from our local politicians, from state politicians, on every front, to get to this point where we're at in the project, and we're just the beginning. So I could go on and on and on. We're very passionate about this project. We're very passionate about every project that we get into. I think most people know I live very close to this project, within 3 miles. I live within 3 miles of the Arts District project. I live within 3 miles of where we sit today. This is where I raised my family. This is something that I want to see better in all neighborhoods that we're developing in. Today, it's in the West Side project. So that's my quick spiel.
Thank you.
Show some updates on where we're at today, too. The left is pretty, that was just taken last week. And then this is just the overhead video of where we're at. You can see the CSN campus just at the upper portion of this. And we've got a long ways to go, but, you know, we've been working on this for 4 years, and I feel like we've come a long ways as well. So happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for the presentations. Yes, certainly been a lot of progress that have been made. Really happy about the CSN Workforce Campus. That's phenomenal. The entire area is really, taking off, and I appreciate you taking the time to be here to speak with the members. Are there any questions from either members on the phone or here in person? Questions, comments? No one online? All right, we'll go to Councilwoman Summers Armstrong.
Thank you for the presentation. If we could go back to the slide. So do you have any specifics about your employment and your subcontracting in this phase of the project? Can you provide, or did you bring any of that information with us that you could share? What makes up the 17%? What kinds of participation are we seeing in those two categories?
Yeah, it's funny. We originally had the slides in there, but it had some personal information like addresses that are specific to it. But like Sam was saying, we just submitted our first quarter of reporting ahead of time. That was last month. So we're happy to print that out or email it over to your office, and we'll send all of the backup that we submitted already.
Thank you. So one of the things that was part of a piece of legislation that I worked on in 2021 was this, to really be intentional about ensuring that we had employment opportunities and subcontracting opportunities whenever the city had their fingers in, or their pocketbook, I should say, involved in projects. And so I think it's important, if you are struggling, and this was part of the need of legislation, if you need assistance, the City of Las Vegas and our partners and the people on SNEC, because we are all in the community, the commissioner and other folks on the line, our senator, are here to help if you are getting stuck, right? So this is where our influence and relationships with employment organizations and organizations like the chambers could possibly be helpful. And so I'm glad to see that you are exceeding in both categories, but I think it's important going forward as it changes. You have different needs that you are maintaining, if not improving, this area, but we also want these opportunities, especially the employment ones, to be gateways for local folks to learn from you and move on to other work. And with Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority working diligently on their project, they have a commitment through their Section 3 portion for employment, and they are doing a lot of hard work on preparing people for employment. And so I think that those relationships could be helpful. So if you haven't already, be happy to make a connection with them. But I think that there's an opportunity for us to move this work and connections back and forth, because they're going to go on 7 years after you. And so this could be helpful to get people started with you, move over to them, and then, you know, whatever's happening on Jackson Street as well. So just to create sort of a resource so that we are creating skilled workers so that we can keep them working in the community as long as these projects are going on. So
We'd
we're
be
just here to
definitely
help.
open to that. I'll say in the, 3 years ago, as soon as we knew that the project was kind of moving forward, we were introduced to Maisha Boyce and have been working really closely with her, getting the lists of subcontractors, even as the smallest thing as we had the groundbreaking, and we said, are there food providers or, equipment rental places that you have a list of, and that's what we did. But and we used somebody off that list, of course, and it was great. But for any future, we'd love that connection. And
Councilman,
however-
we appreciate the comments and the insight. We will take any help or any direction that we can get to make this better. Like, we don't want to be average. We want to be the best. We want to show people that, we're a small company. We're not a massive company. But we want to do everything we can, and that means listening, paying attention, calling, making those connections, and not sitting idle. It's one thing to check the box, which we've seen it a million times. Check the box and done. That's not the right way to approach it. So we come open to that and want to do more. So.
All right, thank you. Appreciate your time.
I could keep talking and talking. I love the West Side, so I could keep going. Thank you for all your time. I appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, well now, this item was brought forward by Councilwoman Summers Armstrong as a discussion around the Harlem Nights Casino project. You wanted to talk about that?
Staff, if you want to sort of clarify where we are with that, that would be great.
This is Brian Lee Cruz, analyst. This item was an debate item from the last meeting. It was brought up as a discussion item, I believe, by Senator Neal.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh,
it was.
So
but
are we striking this, Senator Neal?
we are striking it off the agenda. So it was just a carryover item that needed to be struck, this agenda.
Perfect, thank you. All right, we need a motion to strike.
So moved.
Second?
All right, the motion is the item is motioned and properly seconded to strike. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Motion is adopted. Item number 7, discussion regarding any future topics you would like to hear or see on the agenda.
If I may. I have asked staff to look into the possibility of us having a workshop for SNEC so that we can sort of talk about future things that are on the horizon within the area that SNEC governs, and just sort of clarifying how we want to move forward, and just a workshop to get to know one another and sort of solidify our role. And so I'm hoping that the other members would be interested in such a workshop.
I like that. All right, let's make sure we have that discussion and see how we can get that planned. We'll now go into item number 8. This is the second time set aside for public comment. Is there anyone that would like to come forward for this period of time? Please come forward, state your name, last name, and welcome.
Good afternoon, SNCC Board. My name is Maisha Boyce. For the record, I'm the president and managing member of MYS Firm, and we are a consultant for the City of Las Vegas, specifically for the employment plan. And I just wanted to further address the presentation that was presented today. I do really believe that Share Downtown is a good example of how business can work in conjunction with the city. Both Mr. Grant and Mr. Cherry have been working diligently with us since very early on. So a couple of things I wanted to point out that I think they're just doing well that would love to see replicated for other projects within the West Side. So they started early. Far before this came before council, we were already sitting down talking about the resources that were available. They had early meetings with many of our contractors to try and figure out how they could carve out bid packages within this project, which is something that I think is of note. It's something that needs to be done. It needs to be intentional, and I appreciate that. Secondly is that as they've been moving through the process, they have been in pretty consistent communication with us around that progress and looking for suggestions as they're moving forward. I'm excited to see this project move forward because what we do see is that a lot of our local diverse contractors are in the finishes. And so I'm really hoping that as we move towards those finishing phases of this project, we get to see a little bit more availability of the types of businesses that can fulfill this type of work, specifically in this area. So excited to continue to support their progress, but really do want to give kudos to this team of the projects that we're working on. They're one of our stronger partners, and really do commend them for the work that they're doing within the West Side. The other point that I'd mentioned is the employment plans don't just address subcontracting, but also workforce requirements. And just as a generalization, as we have these kind of meetings into the future, I think it's important to point out that it is becoming increasingly difficult to collect workforce data in the current political climate. A lot of people, especially in communities of color, are being a little bit more careful with how much information they're willing to share personally. And I think that that's something that we should note and find ways to kind of work around as we need to meet these requirements into the future. They're important to meet, but it's also outside of the developer's control in a lot of cases around how people are willing to report. So just a couple of things to flag as we're moving into the future, and knowing that these things are important to the city to continue to track. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward at this time? All right, hearing and seeing no one, we'll adjourn this meeting.